Which brings us to the final question. Was it really paradise? When you look into the stats on millennial upward mobility after years of being behind in terms of homeownership and wealth building, on the surface it seems like we are finally catching up or even surpassing our parents' generation, at least financially. Some reports even say that millennials are set to become the richest generation in history. But if you dig a little bit deeper into the data, you'll see that this is not exactly a realistic picture. Because yes, there's more wealth, but that does not mean it's being spread evenly among individuals. There is actually more wealth specifically because there is greater wealth inequality. Quote, there are some millennials who are doing extremely well. Think Mark Zuckerberg with a net worth of $164.5 billion, while others remain mired in debt. This graph divides each generation in 10 equal-sized groups ranked by their average wealth. In each generation, the bottom 10% have negative net worth. Their debts are larger than their assets. In each generation, most of the wealth is held by the wealthiest households, especially those in the top 10% of the distribution. Those in the middle of the distribution have rather modest levels of wealth. Median household wealth, referring to the middle point in the distribution, was $58K among baby boomers, $73K among Gen Xers, and $100K among millennials. In sum, although average millennial household wealth now exceeds the average wealth of previous generations, wealth has become even more unequally distributed within generations. Addressing extreme wealth inequality requires urgent policy intervention. One of the reasons we focus so much on wealth inequality on this channel, and specifically in our video essays, is because the absence of analyzing along the lines of wealth inequality allows people to paint really inaccurate pictures. So for example, you may have been seeing a lot of headlines about how millennials are doing so well. But when you actually drill down in the data, you can see that that is totally dependent on essentially the kind of financial situation they were already coming from, and in many cases, their race. Because when you break down the numbers amongst millennials, the growing wealth is really concentrated among one group, and that is white people. Quote, in 1983, the average wealth of white families was about $320,000 higher than the average wealth of Black families and Hispanic families.